Good afternoon. It's Monday, October 6th. It's just a little bit after 12, and you're at the Executive Committee meeting in Stancog. If we could have roll call.
Chair Condit.
Here.
Member Chiesa. Vice Chair Carr.
Here.
Member Swallen.
Here.
Member Hernandez.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Next segment on the agenda is public comment. Members of the public may address the committee on any item not on the agenda. Comments shall be limited to 5 minutes. Anybody want to make public comment about items not on the agenda? Any online? All right, thank you. Moving on to the consent calendar. Calendar has A and B on it. Any members like to pull and discuss anything on consent? And none. Any members of the public like to comment on consent items? Any online? Okay, I'll bring it back to the board for a motion.
So moved.
I have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. All right, discussion items. A, motion to recommend the policy board authorized by resolution, the executive director to negotiate and execute a professional service agreement with, how do you pronounce that? Somas? For the Church Street Mobility Enhancement Project. Is Tony Harris online? All right.
Yes,
Tony?
I am. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I had to look at my watch. Good afternoon, committee members. My name is Tony Harris, manager of strategic project delivery, and I am here today to present an item related to the Church Street Mobility Enhancement Project and hiring of a consultant to provide services for that project. Next slide, please. Background on this is in 2019, Stancog received a grant from Caltrans to conduct an assessment. And the purpose of it was to look at transportation networks and recommend improvement strategies in the unincorporated disadvantaged communities. Out of that, the study concluded with recommendations for mobility enhancements concept in Bison and also Empire. Next slide, please. The Church Street Mobility Enhancement Project is located in Empire on Church Street and also connections on 2nd and 1st that goes over from Church to G Street. And basically on Church Street, it goes from Yosemite, which is basically State Route 132, up to just north of McCourt Avenue. Next slide. Yosemite State Route 132 is state highway. Caltrans is also planning to do active transportation type improvements in this area, which is one of the reasons why the project competed well and going forward. The actual scope of the improvements is to construct curbs, gutters, sidewalks, and drainage improvements. It's going to remove and replace the non-compliant sidewalks, and it's going to install curb extensions, crosswalks, flashing beacons, stop signs, and street lights to help facilitate that type of movements through the community and also to the adjacent schools in the area. Next. The project funding. In January of 2024, the policy board approved a resolution committing just a little bit over $2 million in Measure L Community Connect funds to use as a match and leverage for competing for a active transportation program grant. In December of 2024, the California Transportation Commission voted to provide $4.5 million of active transportation funding, and that left a gap of $3.258 million to fully fund what was needed for the project. The California Transportation Committee came back in June 2025 and amended their program to fund that gap that was needed to fully fund the project. And they was able to do that because other projects within the program was not meeting their delivery commitment. So they shifted funding from those projects to other projects that are prepared to proceed, including the Church Street project. Next. So here's what the overall funding looked like for the project. For the project approval environmental document, plan specifications, right-of-way construction, Combined, the total cost is 9.74 million, and you will see that a significant portion of that funding is coming from ATP. And then the Measure L Community Connect is providing the other funding. And we're proposing to spend the money almost on a proportionate basis as we go through each phase of the project. Next. So we did proceed with a consultant procurement, and the procurement was to hire a consultant to complete the project approval environmental document phase, the design phase, which is the plan specification estimate, the right-of-way phase, but also to provide design support during construction. So proposals were released in July, and then actual proposals were received in August 6th. They were evaluated by a combination of Stancog staff and also the county public works department because Church Street is owned by the county. And with that, I'm bringing forth the recommendation to this committee today and ultimately to the policy board on the 15th. If the recommendation is approved, then we will proceed with negotiating and executing a contract with the recommended firm. Next. 4 proposals were received, and the 4 firms are listed there. You see in the left-hand column is listed what was the evaluation criteria in particular. Based upon that evaluation, you'll see the average across the bottom of what the scores were. And at the conclusion of those averages, it was basically determined that jointly and unanimously that we would recommend SOMAS as the firm to be awarded this contract in particular. Based upon those scores, the committee also made the determination not to proceed with the next step for interviews. The request for proposal listed that interviews was really at the discretion of Stancog. Next. So the recommended action is for the executive committee to motion to recommend that the policy board authorize by resolution the executive director to negotiate and execute a professional service agreement with SOMAS for the Church Street Mobility Enhancement. Next. And that's the next item. So I will pause to see if there's any questions.
All right, any questions for Tony?
Tony, good afternoon. Vito Chiesa. I was wondering, I see they got points for the schedule, but I didn't see what the actual timeline was of starting and completing.
The project is about through the end of construction, and based upon when the ATP funding was provided, it's about a 5-year effort to get through that process. The funding for ATP is not available for construction until 2930. And so that's what stretches the timeline out.
But why did everyone not get points on the schedule? Someone got 5, 3.7, 4.3. 2 of them got 0 because it seems like they could all meet the timeline.
Actually, one proposal, Mark Thomas got a 0 because they failed to include a schedule in their proposal.
Got it. Got it. All right. Thank you.
Hey, Tony, this is George Carr. That Church Street is heavily used. Is it going to remain open to normal vehicle traffic, or is it anytime going to be closed?
It should be open to normal vehicle traffic. There may be temporary lane closures, for certain hours for construction activity, but it will not be a long-term closure.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the Policy Direction Executive Board? All right, seeing none, I'm going to open it up to public comment. Nothing online? All right, no comment? All right, I'll bring it back to the Policy Board. Again, Executive Board, sorry.
Motion to approve.
I have a first.
I'll second it.
I have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Okay, moving on to B, motion to recommend the Policy Board authorize by resolution the Executive Director to negotiate and execute a memorandum of understanding for the Modesto Bus Rapid Transit Study with Stanislaus Regional Transit Authority, Stan RTA. Michael Segala.
Hello, I'm Nick St. Cook, Associate Planner here at Stancog, and I'll just be quickly introducing Michael Segala here. These next two items are both regarding REAP, Regional Early Action Planning Grants Program, the 2.0, this most recent round of that funding. And it's for two items that will be needing memorandums of understanding approved by the policy board to enter into funding agreements with different agencies. This first item is regarding the Bus Rapid Transit Study Program in Modesto that will be headed by Stan RTA. And the second is regarding multiple MOUs needed for transformative funding suballocation. Michael, I'll let take it from here.
Thank you, Nick. Good afternoon. Executive Committee Board of StanCog. Michael Segala here, consultant to StanCog. The item before you today is for an implementation study for a bus rapid transit system in the city of Modesto. A little bit of background here. StanCog was awarded a little bit over $7 million a couple of years ago in REAP 2.0. That's Regional Early Action Planning Program funds from the state of California Housing and Community Development Department. That department of the state has a recent history of giving money to MPOs like metropolitan planning organizations like StanCog to deliver on integrated planning programs that focus not only on transportation, but on housing as well and the connections there. So this program is one of those types of programs looking at reducing vehicle miles traveled, increasing infill development, and other planning activities that are consistent with your sustainable community strategies. Of that total amount of a little bit over 7 million to StanCog, in that application to HCD was a carve out of 700,000 that would be allocated to Stan RTA, Stanislaus Regional Transit Authority, for the Modesto BRT study. A little bit of bus rapid transit, so that everyone's on the same page here, is a public transit system that provides light rail-like quality and speed through dedicated bus lines. It may have prepayment terminals, if you will. The platform may be raised so that people can get on and off the bus quicker. And sometimes they use articulated buses. Those are those extra long buses. So those are the types of things that define what a bus rapid transit system is. And it's designed to offer high capacity alternative to traditional buses. So it's in line with the state goals in terms of if a city has these types of systems in place, not only do they qualify for additional state funding related to infill housing and that type of stuff, but it's also a good way to serve your residents and increase infill development. So so the 700,000 to Stan RTA would go for that initial study for a new bus rapid transit system in the city of Modesto. Obviously, there's a lot of things involved. Stan RTA has already RFP, request for proposal, this project out to Kimley Horn, who's already developed a scope for this, and they will be taking the lead on this work. It includes all types of activities, in terms of feasibility, projections, cash projections, a capital funding plan, community outreach, corridor prioritization of where this might be, initial talks is this might be on McHenry, which runs north and south in Modesto. But obviously that is not the only corridor that will be looked at. And so a lot of different things would have to be done in the context of this study. This item was taken to UTAC last week and recommended, well, not recommended, but approved for moving forward in the process here. And like I mentioned, Stan RTA has already done an RFP for this, and they've taken the subject MOU before you today to their board last month, and it was approved as well. So that is it, Executive Committee. We're asking you to approve this onto your policy board in the amount of 700,000 to Stanislaus Regional Transit Authority. I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from the executive board?
Yes, hey, Michael. So Kimberly Horn has already agreed to the 700,000 to do all the work?
Yes.
Okay. So the RFP actually had a dollar figure in it, or they gave us a dollar figure and now we're bringing it? Because I actually like the way this was done. We're negotiating with people, but they already did the RFP. They're actually in front of the ball. So I think we know already.
Yes, that's my understanding, that that figure was known in the RFP process.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just a general question. How often are the sustainable community strategies done, the actual plan? Maybe this is a question for Nick.
Mhm.
Or-
Sorry, I just had to unmute there. I'm not entirely certain what the timing for that is, but I can look into that and get back to you for that.
Every
Thank you.
4 years, you had one in 2022. The next one they're working on right now, it'll be for 2026.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Gonna open up public comment on this item? Nothing online? Okay, I'll bring it back to the board for any other questions, comments, or motion.
So moved.
I have a first.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Okay, moving on to C, motion to recommend the policy board authorize by resolution the executive director to negotiate and execute a memorandum of understanding for the regional early action planning grants of 2021 REAP 2.0 transformative funding sub-allocation program with the member agencies. Nick, you're back up.
Yes, and I'll just be handing this right back over to Michael Segala, who will be taking this item as well.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Executive Committee. Again, so this is another program of the $7 million REAP program. This is a $3.1 million programs designed to sub-allocate money to your 10 jurisdictions in Stanislaus County. Okay, so we had a call for projects in June with those applications due in August. The amounts that were allocated to cities, this is non-competitive. They just had to put forward an application, and they, if the application was good, they would receive funding. So those amounts are in your staff report. And in August, those applications were done. 9 of your 10 jurisdictions submitted applications. City of Houston did not. And so we've, in the past month, StanCog staff and Housing and Community Development from the state of California have collectively reviewed these applications, and we are ready to move forward with 4 of them at this time for the cities of Patterson, Riverbank, Turlock, and Stanislaus County. The description of those applications are in your packet, but for Patterson, it was a housing element update and a new program to stimulate small-scale infill development. For the city of Riverbank, they plan on developing a impact fee system in the inner core of their city to facilitate more housing development. Turlock has a master plan for 7 unincorporated county islands. Again, all this work is geared towards higher density housing, bike ped related projects. So that was Turlock's project, and then Stanislaus County was looking at a reimbursement for some housing element work, as well as rezoning 88 acres to enable 1,400 new housing units. So a lot of good projects in front of you. The remaining 5 for the cities of Ceres, Modesto, Newman, Oakdale, and Waterford, we are still in the review process with HCD. We're trying to make some modifications to those cities' applications so that we could bring those forward perhaps next month to the policy board. But we have ongoing meetings with HCD in those cities at this moment as well. So today we're asking for you to approve moving forward with MOUs for these 4 cities: Riverbank, Patterson, Turlock, and Stanislaus County, so that we can get the projects going and they can start the work on these important planning projects in your county. The work all has to be done by December of 2026. So there's a little bit of short time frame now in terms of getting all these things out. So I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions from the executive board?
Are you guys going to, you guys are going to submit an application for it, or you're not going to?
No, not at this time.
Not this time.
Any questions from the public? None online? Okay, bring it back to the or executive board for a motion or more comments.
So moved.
I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Okay. Moving to draft October policy board agenda. Jean.
Yes, thank you, Chair Condit. I'm actually going to hand this over to Monica for the first portion of this because it's unusual that we have adjourned to closed session at the beginning of a meeting. So maybe, Monica, you could let them know why we're doing that and we can go from there.
Thank you, Interim Executive Director Folletta and members of the Executive Committee. So we will be adjourning to closed session at the beginning of the meeting. Normally, we would do this at the end. The reason we are doing that at the start of the meeting is we do have some resolutions of necessity on our agenda. Those will be the last discussion items on the agenda. But in order to provide some additional information that may be relevant to those RON hearings, we're doing the closed session at the start of the meeting. We also have two other items on there right now. They may be placeholders, but we are keeping them on there. We may have an update on our executive director recruitment. So that's items B and C. And then the fifth item is, or excuse me, 5D is pertaining to items for which the board will be receiving an email later this afternoon and provide some further clarification there. If anyone has any questions on those, I'd be happy to address them. If not, I'll hand it back to Director Folletta.
Any questions for Monica? Just a discussion. Should we look at doing the RONs at the beginning of discussion items instead of going through all this, or just so that if people are here, they're not waiting through the entire meeting to get to finally their issue?
I agree. If people are going to show up, we respect their time.
We can move it also to, we can list it as discussion item A. We can move that also to just, you know, as the chair, you do have the discretion to take the items in any order on the agenda, but we will make that note when we finalize the agenda. We'll move that up to item A.
Perfect. Any other questions?
I have been requested to ask that we add the status of the tenant and remodel of the purchase of the new building, possibly just to have that discussion and add that to the agenda for the policy board meeting.
So we can add that. We've been collecting some information regarding the status of the tenant and what our options might be moving forward for the short and longer term period. It was our understanding that our direction was to take that through management and finance before bringing it to the policy board. So we were planning to do that for November.
All right, thank you. If it's going to go to management and finance first, then that's okay. But I think in November, we should definitely have a report to the entire policy board, especially since we were looking forward to changes happening in December, which is just 2 months away from now, and it will just be 1 month from that time. So that's adequate.
Good. All right. Any questions from the public? Nothing online? All right. We need to take a vote on the changes or just direction?
Just direction is, and we'll incorporate those changes and make sure we have the item for November.
Okay. Moving on, interim executive director report. Jean.
I have nothing to report today. Thank you.
Member reports. Anybody got anything?
I'd like to share a conversation I had with Paul Van Kenenberg, who he was the chair. I'm not sure he's the chair anymore of the Major L Committee. And, you know, he's pretty nervous, his group's pretty nervous about getting behind on the audit there too, much like we're behind the audit here. It's very difficult for me to alleviate anyone's concerns on timing, but I know we're absolutely short-staffed, and I had told him that. He understands it, but I think he had a legitimate concern because they're volunteering, and he's afraid that because they're not completing, it looks like they're not completing their work, it's going to shine on them, not on us. And so that's just something we need to figure out internally, find out where the audit is overall.
Yeah, I can address that. So we did meet with the MLOC committee and let them know that we were expecting the audits sometime in late October. And I believe we will get all the Measure L audits by the end of the month. There's a straggler, but I think that we should be able to take that item to the MLOC. Even we might have to move the meeting because the MLOC is the first Tuesday or Wednesday of the month, but it's early in the month. We might have to move it down a little bit, but we should, the audits are coming in right now. And so we just have our manager of finance looking through those, and then they should be good to go.
And the same auditor is doing Stancog's audit.
Yes, that one we are behind on for sure. Yeah, there's also just for full transparency, there's an audit that is taking up a considerable amount of our time. We're being audited by Caltrans as well. And so that is taking up a considerable amount of our time answering their questions. And so we're making that our priority, seeing as they're the ones who funding. Mm-hmm.
Any other, Rachel, I saw you going for the mic.
Yeah, North County Quarter is officially underway, so resolve between Clarabelle and Plainview is closed. So we're doing a lot of work on the communications end on behalf of the city, with sheriff, the county, bugging your communications folks, but they're great. So just trying to keep everyone on the same page with all of that. Yeah, it seems to be going smoothly.
Yeah, there's been some dramatic changes in some travel lanes on Clarabelle, turning southbound on Oakdale Road from Clarabelle. They added another turn lane, so that was a little different for people, and it took a little bit. They're still getting used to that, but it looks like, at least from my perspective, the areas that I've looked at this morning, even, that it looks like people have caught on pretty quickly and traffic's moving.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Anybody?
just comment briefly on that, but I followed a lot. There's a lot of comments on social media surrounding that. But I have seen many, many, many posts about the changes and the maps and all over. I've seen that. So I think that I want to, thank whoever is making sure, all the different agencies, the county, Stancog, whoever it is, City of Riverbank, City of Modesto. I think that it's really helped. But it is interesting because it's very straightforward what's supposed to happen, but it does change people's lives when they travel that every day.
They'll be changing it for almost a year.
That's
The
right.
way they travel.
Mhm.
Anyone else? I got to attend the Highway 132 open house at Central Catholic High School with the interim executive director, Tony Harris, and his team, and it was just a great program. It was well attended. And everybody did a great job. A lot of good questions, good PowerPoint presentation, all the different signages around the auditorium there where it was taking place. It was a lot of great information. All right. You can adjourn.